Hello guys, welcome back to the last of our Christmas videos for 2020, and today we are talking about one of the most integral parts of Christmas dinner, in my humble opinion, and that is the stuffing. Now, I always make extra stuffing at Christmas because you can keep your leftover ham, your leftover turkey. Come Boxing Day, all I want is a few good slices of stuffing in between a bit of bread. Might be a little bit odd, but it is good packing. A couple of years back I did an apricot stuffing on the channel, which was done in a loaf tin and wrapped in bacon, and you guys have made it. I've seen lots of you do it over the last few years and you seem to like it, so we're going with something slightly different today. We're doing a herb and cranberry stuffing, still sausage meat stuffing base, but we're going to do it in a skillet. So to start off with, get your barbecue fired up for direct cooking to start with, and get a skillet on there to preheat over a nice medium temperature. Don't want it too hot. Then you want to finely dice a whole onion and get it into the skillet to start softening down. So after a few minutes, go in there with a chopped clove of garlic, just to cook the rawness out of the garlic a little bit while the onions are finishing cooking. And then let's talk about herbs. So we have 4 different herbs going into this. We have parsley, rosemary, thyme and sage. Of course, sage and stuffing go really well together. So it's kind of hard to gauge exactly how much of each go in. If I had to say, there's probably about a 1/4 cup of parsley and a 1/4 cup of sage, and then maybe 2 teaspoons of chopped fresh rosemary and about 2 teaspoons of picked thyme leaves. But really it doesn't matter too much as long as you have those flavours, and you can adjust it a little bit to your taste anyway. So finally chop all your herbs and then add them into the onions once they've softened, and give them a mix around, and then lift that mixture off the barbecue and put it out onto a plate just to cool down a little bit. You can't add the hot onions into the cold sausage meat. Luckily for us in Northern Ireland, stuff cools down pretty quickly here, so we can go ahead and get everything else ready. So grab yourself a large mixing bowl, and in that we have 2 pounds of sausage meat or pork mince. Into that then we're going to go in with roughly about 200 grams of breadcrumbs. That gives us a sort of base stuffing mixture. Then we can go in with our cooled down onions and herbs, and then finally go in with a handful of dried cranberries. Now, we've held a few cranberries back as we're going to sprinkle them on the top at the end. We learned our lesson from the apricot stuffing. For those of you that haven't watched it, I'll link the video up here for the apricot stuffing, but we put the chopped apricots on at the start and they burnt black as your boots. So we've learned our lessons. So once you've all those main ingredients in there, give it a good season with salt and pepper, and then get in with your hands and just mix it all together. Try and make sure those breadcrumbs are evenly incorporated through the sausage meat as well. It'll just help hold everything together a little bit better, and those breadcrumbs then absorb all the fat that's coming out of that sausage meat. Now at this point we need to adjust the setup of the barbecue a little bit, because this is cooking indirect. So in the Kamado Joe, I put the deflector plates in there again just to give us indirect, setting at a temperature of around 190–200. And tip your stuffing mixture back into that same skillet you used and spread it out evenly across. Then it can go onto the barbecue to cook. So because we're cooking it in the skillet and it's pretty thinly spread out across that skillet, it doesn't actually take too long to cook. So after around half an hour or so, go in with your thermopen and poke it and see what temperature is inside. You're looking for an internal temperature of around 72 to 75, then it's safe to eat. And once you lift it off, chop up a little bit more of the flat leaf parsley and sprinkle it over the top along with the rest of those dried cranberries, and it is good to serve. Maybe let it sit for 15 minutes to cool down. It still is pretty hot whenever it comes off that barbecue. So for those of you that tried my older stuffing recipe, I'd love you to give this one a go and see what you think between the two. I'm still a little bit undecided as to which one I prefer. I haven't made the apricot one in a while, so I think this Christmas I'm going to give both of them a go and then see which one I like best. I'll leave a link in the description for the full recipe if you do want to give it a try. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.